Cool.
Alright, so over here Andre has completed this puree of garlic, onion and sweet peppers. So it's just a smooth puree. Some people like to have chunks of onion and sweet pepper in their fish cakes, but not everybody likes it. And if you're making for a large crowd, and especially we have a lot of kids as our guests today as well, we actually want to make this a very smooth batter and a very fine fish cake.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is, now that we've had our fish here marinating for a few minutes, we're now going to add this puree into here. Just like that. If you want, you can add chunks of onions to this as well. If you really must have that crunch of onion in your fish cake, but I don't think that's necessary. Then we just mix that in. Again, we want to make sure that our fish looks really well seasoned and tasty and colourful.
Good.
Some people like to say white fish cakes. I don't.
Right.
It's the way to go.
So you like your fish cakes with a light colour?
A light colour, a bit of red, a bit of green, a bit of yellow.
All right. Okay. So while he's mixing up that over there, Baron, you've obviously been a fish cake connoisseur over the years. You've had quite a few fish cakes. What are the memories of fish cakes in Barbados and some of the places that people might be able to go to get a decent fish cake?
Well, a great fish cake, when you can eat a great fish cake for me, is at the beach. When you're at the beach, and there's something about when you're after a hot day and you're running around and you're swimming and that kind of stuff, and you just come and sit on the sand, your fingers are a little bit salty from the water, a little bit damp and wet, and you just tuck into a good hot fish cake. There's nothing like it.
Yes.
There's nothing like it at all.
Yes.
And for me, that's one of my great memories of back home, of when I'm eating fish cakes at the beach. Has to be.
Yes.
Now, if we look at the mixture here as Philip is going through, you'll realize the fish looks a bit chunky at the moment, but as he's going and as he's mixing and putting the herbs and the spices in, you'll realize it's thinning out a bit and it's stripping up a bit. And this is what's going to cause us to get 50 or so fish cakes from this batch.
It's a bit, make it a bit frizzly, as they say.
That's right.
The Bajan pepper sauce is always a unique piece to use in fish cakes as well, and you have used this over the years as well, Phil?
I would also use pepper sauce, but again, I'm very careful not to have a balance. Again, it goes back to the philosophy. Everything needs to be balanced. Sometimes if you add too much pepper sauce, you override the other flavors. So I avoid it and I just go for fresh chilies. Okay. Although if you want that mustardy taste of pepper sauce, you could add a little bit of mustard as well. I mean, to each his own. If you want to use pepper sauce and you appreciate those flavors, just go for it. You know, just make it your own fish cake.
Yes.
Is the idea. What else should we add here? I think we can add actually this potato puree.
Okay.
So you'd realize that we've actually added a bit of water to that fish cake, to that potato puree.
So this is like a binding agent that's going to hold the fish cake together.
Yes, you can also use egg.
But we don't like egg.
Yeah, I think sometimes the problem with egg, not a problem, because everyone might not want to use egg or might not want to use potato. But things with egg can tend to go bad very quickly or spoil very quickly.
Yeah.
I prefer to use this potato puree. But I've made it a bit watery because it's a batter that we're making. We're going to add flour to this, so we do need a bit of liquid as well. But instead of adding the water separately, why not mix it in with the potato so that you can have the full flavour of the potato added to this as well.
And good consistency.
Yeah, and good consistency again. So we'll add that in. And again, we continue to mix.
That's looking really good, really splendid now. You estimate we get about 50 from a batch of this
I think
size?
we can get 50 reasonably sized fish cakes from this.
One of the places that people like to go and enjoy fish cakes in Barbados is down Oistins, and you know, Oistins is seen as a place where fish is king. And I don't know if you've had any memories over the years of eating a good fish cake in Oistins. This has been, you know, commented on by many people.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, there's apart from taking my own fish cakes there and we made them at home, there's also a little shop on the on the, where is it? I think it's on the western side of Oistins, or what we would call at home the deep side.
The deep side.
At Oistins. And there's a lady there who sells some tremendous fish cakes. Every time I go home, I get fish cakes from down there. Also on Friday nights, I think there's a shop called the Legendary Fish Cakes.
Oh,
Yes.
And on Friday nights, when you're still by the sea, you're at Oistins, you're by the sea. The first place I go when I get to Oistins on Friday nights, I seek out Legendary. And I get myself 8 or 12 fish cakes, depending on how hungry I'm at the time, or if I want to share. And I would get 8 or 12 fish cakes, and I would have those. Brilliant fish cakes. Again, they're different consistencies, sometimes from saltiness to hotness. By hotness I mean hotness of the herb pepper, and not necessarily in heat from the fire. But brilliant all the same. Brilliant all the same.
So we're going to come back for what we would call the drop. Because the drop is very important now. I'm
actually going to ask Andre, because with 2 people, this is actually ideal to do. If you can pour the flour while I stir. Otherwise, I'll have to be pouring and stopping all the time. But if you have 2 people making fish cakes.
Now,
efficiency.
One other thing as well, you'll realize this is self-raising flour.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you can use just flat flour, in which case you might add a raising agent because you want your fish cake to be well-rounded and soft on the inside. But with self-raising flour, pretty much the raising agent is in there already. So you'll realize that we're not going to use any baking soda or any yeast or anything like that.
Yeah. So I'll make a hole here in the middle, and if you just add some flour very slowly, stop there now. Let's see how that pans out. So we're not really going to prescribe this and say that we need 2 cups of flour. We'll just add flour until it's right.
Right.
That's a perfect idea. Let's have a bit more flour to that in the middle. Yep. And this is looking good. It's almost looking like a cake batter. It's called a fish cake after all. So it needs to look like a sort of a cake batter. I've actually put this sort of mixture in the oven once before. You know, I just didn't feel like doing the deep fry, and it came out very nice, like a sort of loaf. Wouldn't advise it if you're if you really want a fish cake.
Fish cake loaf.
I would
More of a fish cake loaf, but it's not bad.
It is not a very island thing, though.
It's not traditional. It's definitely not traditional. It's an alternative.
That's a cake, right?
Yeah, it's improvisation again.
Exactly.
Yes.
Which is what we're all about.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And I think we just need one more bit of flour. Yeah, spread it around there. It's perfect. Excellent.
So when I come back to you, then we should now be looking to do the drop, which is very important in getting fish cakes right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna leave it there, and then we're gonna you talk a bit more about the spoon when we come back.
Excellent.